Hey, so it's Father Taylor, and it's time for your Friday eBlast. But I'm recording this on Thursday, October 6th. So this is the coming up for our weekend. But first thing to note is that our office hours have changed. Availability in the office is pretty much guaranteed between 9 and 4, Monday to Thursday. We have some availability, but Carol is not in the office on Friday. So starting next week, the eBlast is going to come out on Thursday. It'll be the Thursday eBlast, not the Friday eBlast. So that's the first thing to note. So lots of things hopping and bopping. The weather today is great. I only hope it holds for the weekend. This Saturday at 4 o'clock, right in the parking lot, we have our annual, the Community Blessing of Animals. It's our version of St. Francis Day, where we bring in pets and all you got to pray for. Last year was a pretty big one. We had a horse and a couple of birds and a lizard, lots of dogs, folks from all over. The service itself is probably, I don't know, 5 minutes, but it's really fun just to come in and have animals. Lots of churches doing this. We know of like almost every one of the churches in town is doing this. We like ours. It's right here in Towerful. So bring a pet. You've got grandkids that have a pet, call your grandkids, pick up the dog, come on by. It'll be a great time to introduce them to the church and to have a little kind of fun with your pets. And we'll see you on Saturday at 4 o'clock. That's this Saturday, 4 o'clock. Earlier in that day, if you're adventuresome and want to come down to the park, if you come down to the park for 2 o'clock, that is Bushnell Park. Come down to Bushnell Park. I'm doing the lunch in the park this week. It's a crazy weekend with the marathon, so parking will be tight, but we're thinking about redeveloping that. The folks that have been helping us with lunches all through COVID, amazing faithfulness. I mean, just it's a small crew. They don't want a lot of attention, but amazing faithfulness. But during the time of COVID, we went to a much reduced plan. So to lessen the amount of people contact so we could continue to do the lunches without worrying about COVID. But it's time to expand that. And it's time to expand people coming down to do conversational ministry at the park. You don't have to do a whole lot. You don't have to be a fantastic Christian. You just got to come down and get to know folks. And if you come every Saturday or most Saturdays, you do get to know folks. It's a nucleus of the same people every week. And always a few folks we've never seen. You get to meet some people, fasting folks, great group to serve with. So anyway, the lunch and park is at 2, but be careful of the marathon. Saturday at 4 o'clock, right here in the parking lot, blessing of your pets, our community pet blessing. Then on Sunday, I want you to come to church. The 8 o'clock folks are great, man. They nail it. It's the same crew every week, 8 o'clock, faithful as can be. If you don't mind getting up early, that's a great time to come to church. A little quieter, a little simpler, a little more reflective. But for the 8 o'clockers and for the folks at 9:15, I want everybody to come at 10:35 for our time, or what is Breakfast Alpha. 3 things we're trying to do here, and you have to be involved to make these happen. I mean, this isn't just like, oh, it's nice. They're doing something. Your church community is doing this. We are trying to get our community back together after 2 years of Alpha and all the shakeup that meant. It wasn't just 2 years passing. You see how the whole world has changed. Churches are still trying to kind of reassemble after 2 years of being apart. So please think about coming this Sunday to find out what is Breakfast Alpha. Here's what will happen. So 1, you'll build community. Why? You'll see other people face to face. We'll be able to meet together in the context of what God has for us in doing so. 2, the course itself is really fantastic. It's a kind of, if you're a new believer or you're curious about Christianity, you come and take a look at, in just 4 or 5 weeks, you get to take a look at the book of Mark and let's strip everything away, all the hymns and stuff we thought. Let's get down. What is the message of Jesus? What was God doing in the person of Jesus for the whole world? So you get to hear, what is that message? So if you're new to church, if you're curious about, I don't know what I believe, perfect class for you to come to. It's only 45 minutes, the class of only 45 minutes. Secondly, the second thing is, let's say that you're a person who has been around the church for a long time, you know most of the story, but you can't put certain parts together. Great time to come, you get the whole package done, see the whole thing through the book of Mark, and you get to see how it's done, and you get to see a more complete story all in one, and you get to ask questions. Great. And then the third reason to come to is if you're a person that already knows this, what's become really clear is this, is that because people don't come to church like they once did, the way that we're going to have to go from here out is to imagine that every person you see a Christian, and that every Christian a church planter. Not that you're going to go to a building campaign, but that you yourself could become a person who could help someone find Christ and see that they grow in Christ such that they can help another person find Jesus Christ. It's what you mean. God sent Jesus to save the world, so it's a big deal. And so if you aren't sure, how could I share my faith? I'm not sure all the pieces, but how could I develop somebody else's faith? You could come and go through this course, and then you could do that. You do the book as over coffee with somebody where you live. You could, if you you live in a retirement community, how perfect to go through the course while taking notes. And then you could offer that with one other person. You could sit down and say, hey, I got this thing. Let's do the book of Mark together through this book. It's a fantastic approach. Great questions. You could do that. You could do it with a women's group. Moms are getting together, and somebody watches the kids. And then you just talk about, what does this mean for us? So it's a kind of a thing which is great for people just starting. It's great for people who want to kind of like fill in the blanks. And it's also great for people who are doing this in order that they can lead someone else to Christ and teach them to. So everybody, hits everybody at every level. That is this Sunday, an introduction to what that's all about, 10:35. And you will get a great, kind of like a little brunch. Remember back a long time ago, before COVID, we used to have a thing called like the super big coffee hour. We had a certain name for it. But it's not just a bagel and a coffee. We're going to have a great food. There'll be teams of people who are preparing it for us. 10:35. Everybody should come and get a glimpse of this and on this Sunday. So this Sunday, 10:35. Last thing is, you'll remember, if some of you were out last year, we did a trunk or treat program, which we do with the town right here in Tarryville. And in the trunk or treat thing, we also combine with the town for a parade, like a costume parade that goes down to the green, and then they host a movie down there. There's some awards given out for costumes, but it all starts in our parking lot with trunk or treat. Last year, I think we had about 14 cars. We would love to have 20 cars this year, which means you come, you get a bunch of candy, you imagine flipping up your trunk, you decorate that with some Halloween theme. Some people got super creative. Sharon and her husband last year came up full costumes. It was absolutely amazing. People did great job. So we had about 200 children in our parking lot last year just to come for trunk or treat. So this year, I need you to, if you didn't do a trunk last year, I really need you to think about preparing a trunk. The whole thing you buy the candy, you show up, at 4 o'clock, you put your trunk together, like 20 minutes, half an hour tops, if you're going out gala. And then the kids come, that's like a half an hour. It's really not that big. It's not a big chunk of time, but it sure blesses our community. We want our church to be the center of life in this section of Simsbury, between the school and the kids and the outreach we do. We want this to be the center of life, elevating and blessing the whole town. So I need you to come. And if you have people that like to get creative, invite them. This is all about, how do I multiply my impact? So get some more people. We'd like to get 20 cars. You need to sign up. So I need you to contact Manda. You can send her an email, or you can send her a text, but contact Manda and say, we need you to come. I'm willing to come and decorate my trunk for a trunk or treat this year. Okay. So let's go over it again. Saturday at 2, Kind of crazy down in Hartford because of the marathon, but the Ministry of Lunch in the Park. 4 o'clock, right in our parking lot, right back here, right in our parking lot, we have blessing of pets and your animals and stuff. Bring a friend, bring your grandkids, tell them to bring their pets. Another great time. Sunday, 10:35, like shortly following the 9:15 service. It gives you enough time to grab a coffee and to get upstairs. But 10:35, we have our kind of like, hey, what is Breakfast Alpha? So that's happening this weekend. And then next week out back again in the parking lot, we have Trunk or Treat. So all these activities coming up. All right. Well, God bless you. We look forward to seeing you this weekend, and may the Lord be with you.